Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. We are here to review the game. This is our instant match reaction. It is Sunderland 0, Liverpool 1. And I'm here with my brother, Statman Stana. Stana, how is it going? How did you see the game? What is your first impressions of the game? It's a win. It's a rare win. So how do you assess it?
I'll start by looking at the positives. This is the very first time this season that Sunderland have lost a game at home in the Premier League. We've had Arsenal, they played City. They basically played everyone in the Premier League at home and they haven't lost. So that is something we can have as a positive for being able to win, and not just the win, but a clean sheet as well. And it wasn't a win that we would say it was a lucky win. We actually deserved to win on the balance of play, considering what both teams offered on the day. I think Liverpool were the better side, controlled large portions of the game, the first half, second half, although we didn't create much. But that is a regular theme that we've seen throughout basically the whole season. But I was very disappointed by the performance of Sunderland as a whole. I think the win has to do more with how poor Sunderland were than how good Liverpool were. That is how I would assess the game. I know it's a bit pessimistic to say that, but that is how I see this game. That is how I saw the game. Some few good individual performances in there as well. I thought it was slightly better from McAllister. He won a few duels in the game. Gravenberg was also there. I thought the most positive I saw, especially in the first half, was Florian Wirtz. I thought anytime he got on the ball, he was making the right decisions. He was calm on the ball, picking out the right passes. His decision making made sure we always squeeze the pitch high, maintain possession. He was more responsible in possession than I've seen him before. And so Sunderland didn't have the opportunity to catch us on the break a lot of times. And so we were able to pin them back as much as we could to prevent them from coming into our side of the pitch. I thought Van Dijk was very dominant in terms of his aerial duel, dominating his box, clearing everything up. Konate as well, very good individual performance from him, locking down Brian Brobe. We know one of their major strengths is Brian Brobe bringing the ball down, bringing players into play. That is how they are able to advance. But Van Dijk and Konate made sure they locked him down, prevented Sunderland from being able to play their game. We had a lot of set pieces, and I kept on asking myself, when are we going to make use of one of the set pieces? And then luckily we did. I think that was the 10th or the 11th corner that finally picked out someone. I wasn't even particular about us scoring from a corner, but we needed to get our head on a corner at least once to play about 9-10 corners, and not even one of them went to a Liverpool player. That was a bit disappointing, but I was happy Van Dijk got his head on it. I think it would have gone in the net even if the defender didn't get his head on it. So all in all, a calm performance, not too many things to pick out. A very calm performance, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned there about the set pieces, and isn't it ironic that at the end of the day, Liverpool, the team that always concedes from set pieces, now wins a game against one of the best set piece teams in the league with a set piece, even though we were still a bit poor in terms of the number of corner kicks we had and how we managed to take advantage of it. You mentioned something about the dominance we had in the game. This wasn't a fluke win by any means. When you look at the stats here, Liverpool had 56% possession against 44% from Sunderland. The expected goals, Liverpool had 1.95 expected goals to Sunderland 0.66. Total shots, Liverpool had 23 as against 11. Shots on target, we had 3. Sunderland had 2 big chances, 3 big chances for Liverpool, 0 big chances for Sunderland. And big chances missed. We missed 2 big chances. They missed 0. So another thing I also see here that is very telling, and I think it is the main reason why we won this game, was the mentality with which we went into the game. When I look at the duels, Liverpool won 57 duels as against 42. Ground duels won. Liverpool won 52% of their duels. Sunderland won 48%. Aerial duels, we won 70% aerial duels. So that speaks to what you mentioned about Van Dijk's dominance. I think Konate as well was very dominant in the air. He was touch tight always to Brian Broby, who can be a very difficult player to play against. Successful dribbles, we had 63%. They had only 38%. So talking about the defense, I think today the mentality was different. Players were more committed. They were more active, less passive. As we saw in the game against Manchester City, we were a bit too passive. It is okay to play in a low block and try to defend and hit the team on a counter. But even so, you need to be very active. In certain areas, when the opponent gets the ball, you need to close them down. And we weren't doing that well enough in the game against Manchester City, especially in the first half. But today, I think we did that to a very decent level, not to the greatest of extents, but it was at a decent level. I want us to talk a little bit about Robertson. He came in today into the lineup after a long while out. We also had Endo on the right-hand side. How did you see their performance, those two guys in the defense today?
Yeah, I thought Robertson was solid. We needed his experience at a ground like this, I thought. So I thought that was a good decision to start him ahead of Kerkes for this game. The experience that he has acquired over the years, I thought he made the right decisions at all times in terms of tracking his man whenever he got on the ball, whether it was a forward pass. At times when he didn't think, he analyzed it. He was able to analyze the situation. If he had to play the ball forward or recycle the ball, he knew when to do that and when not to. So I thought it was a pretty decent performance. It wasn't put on the back foot too many times, but very decent on the ball. We had majority of the ball, so most of the things he did were on the ball, not off it. On the other side, I thought Endo was very unlucky to get that injury, and the clearance that actually made him get hurt was actually a very good clearance from him. He was switched on, and he got that clearance. I thought he was a bit shaky in terms of the attack when he was trying to overlap, but we know he is in a right back, so that isn't a strength of his. He's a defensive midfielder. But very unfortunate. For some reason, anyone who plays at right back gets injured. And I'm not sure why. Joe Gomez came in pretty decent, as always. Whenever he's fit, he's slotted in seamlessly at right back. So I thought it was pretty decent from either ends of our flanking in terms of the defense. And I'm hoping Robertson will get more minutes as the season goes on. Because sometimes I think we need him more than a Kerkes. But I think sometimes he plays Kerkes too many games. I think sometimes Robertson should come in a lot sooner or should start ahead of Melos Kerkes.
Yeah, I think Robertson definitely deserves to play a lot more games than he has already this season. I'm actually quite surprised that he hasn't been given enough playing time this season because I think he deserves it. So, as much as Kerkes isn't playing badly this lately this season, he didn't start very well. He was a bit shaky at the beginning of the season, but now he's found his feet. But still, I think I wasn't expecting that this season we would have a clear starter at left back. I thought it was going to be very similar to what we had last season with Simikas and Robertson, where anybody could start at any point in time. And I think that is something that we should have done more this season with Robertson and Kerkes. I want us to look at the midfield today. because I think there were some notable changes in the way we performed in midfield. Not We didn't change anyone in terms of personnel. I think it was the same midfield that played against Manchester City. But I think today there was a slight change in attitude, the energy in the midfield. You mentioned um, McAllister when you were
So,
giving your initial assessment, and I think I do agree with you on that. He was more robust. He was more aggressive this time. Um, Gravenberg also played well today. I did like his performance. He was really good on the ball as well. Very aggressive too. Because I think that was the only way we could get anything from this game. If we weren't aggressive in the middle of the pack, then it was going to be difficult for us. So how do you how did you find the performance of those two in midfield in this particular game?
yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned the stats right there about the jewels, what the ground jewels, the aerial jewels, and they won a lot of aerial duels. Sorry, a lot of ground duels, especially McAllister. Um, I was more impressed with McAllister, not because I thought he was outstanding. I don't think he was outstanding. He was pretty decent. But I was more concerned about McAllister's performance today because of what he's shown previously. He's been losing a lot of duels, particularly a lot of jewels this season. And it's the reason why, one of the reasons why we haven't had that sort of protection in front of the back line this season. The balance that he gave us last season has gone completely missing. So mostly uh, we suffered in that aspect. But I thought today was an improvement. He won a lot of his jewels. He competed in midfield. He got there early at times. Um, he had a similar performance against Arsenal at the Emirates. I thought he would have been able to kick on, but he still has had very inconsistent performances throughout the season. I'm just hoping we can get the old McAllister back, because if we get the old McAllister back, we are halfway through solving most of our problems in terms of the balance of attacking and then defending. And today he was a bit more progressive as well. I spoke about this a lot before as well. McAllister likes a lot of side passes. He does a lot of side. He never wants to take risks with the ball. Today was a bit better, slightly. He still did a lot of side passes, but today was slightly an improvement on some of his previous performance in terms of taking more risk with the ball and trying to be more energetic, trying to bring the ball forward from the defense into the attacking team, giving it to the likes of Real Beds, the attacking players to ultimately go and create some chances. So that was it about McAllister. Gravenberg was also very solid. Gravenberg has actually been very good. I think even in some games where we've lost, I think he's mostly isolated because of McAllister not being to the standard. Sometimes it leaves him having a lot of work to do. He has to sometimes do two people's job at the same time, and we know Gravenberg isn't actually let's say a traditional six. And so sometimes he faces a lot of challenges in trying to do two people's job at the same time. He struggles with that at times, but um, he actually really does well in terms of his duels. He's mostly aggressive in them. He wins a lot of them as well. On the ball as well, he does give us a lot of control when we want to keep the ball a lot, recycle, know when to pass forward, when not to. And I thought he did that well today. Florian Wirtz also did his thing, especially in the first half. With Florian Wirtz, I don't know why whenever he's trying to take a shot, he always seems to he always seems not to know what type of shot to take at what time. He always wants to try the same kind of um, shot. I don't know how to call it. He always kind of want to take the same kind of shot,
Yeah,
and I don't think that that's the best. Sometimes he has to change um, the ways in which he's trying to shoot. Sometimes you have to smash it across. Sometimes he has to, smash through it on the floor. But it seems like he's always trying to play with his side
yeah.
foot,
I
which
think
isn't
he has a
the best.
favorite technique for shooting, and he that's what he feels comfortable with. So he just goes to that by default. And sometimes even
Yeah,
if
and also sometimes
yeah, even if the
yeah,
situation demands a different kind of technique, he doesn't feel comfortable doing a different technique.
yeah. I also feel like sometimes it's not just about a shot technique. I think sometimes he's just trying to play the shot on target, not necessarily trying to pick corners. And I think that's also a factor why sometimes he plays a shot in the way that he does. He's trying to, I want to get this ball on target, not necessarily trying to stretch the goalkeeper or pick a corner. I think that is one of the reasons why he also does that. But it was pretty decent for everybody on the pitch in the midfield and defense. Allison really didn't have much to do either. And that was because we had that protection in midfield. And then the aerial draws by Konate and Van Dijk gave us the platform to have a clean sheet, which propelled us to ultimately go in and get the win.
Quickly on Salah and Gakpo, and also let's add a Ekitike to the conversation. So those three guys in our front three, how do you assess their performances today? I think today Gakpo was decent, although he didn't really do a lot in terms of the adding a lot to the attack. Maybe I would say he defended a bit better this time, a bit, but to be honest, I don't really know why we keep starting Gakpo right now, currently. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think currently we would be better off starting either Vets or Curtis Jones in that position and being more compact in the middle. The manager decides he prefers to play Gakpo there. What did you make of the front three? I also felt today Ketike played well, but he was quite disappointing in terms of his finishing and certain final decision making.
Yeah, I think the only thing I want to touch on Ekitike is his heading. We saw that chance, the Trevor pass from Salah to him against Manchester City, where he missed the target. He had a similar chance today as well, where he missed the target. He is a striker with a tall frame, so I think he needs to improve on his heading. He needs to improve on his heading, get it on target, try to get your header on target at all times. He has Van Dijk, he has Konate. I think he can learn a thing or two from them and trying to get his head on air balls and trying to get his headers on target. Um, his overall game, he was trying to run the channels. The ball wasn't always coming, but I saw him making the runs, which is good. Sometimes his decision making in terms of even the angle of his pass, how he wants to pass it, wasn't always the right one, which is kind of frustrating a little bit, but we'll take it. He still has a lot to improve on. It's not the finished article, as we are all aware. Slightly better today, I think, especially in the second half, later on, where Sunderland were trying to get the equalizer, had a bit more space, still not quite. We got that last chance at the end where he scored. That was very unlucky for him not to score. But he was okay. Gakpo defensively was okay, but offensively, got a few crosses in the first half. It was mostly on the left hand channel where Gakpo was where we created most of our chances from. They were mostly half chances or not clear goal scoring opportunities, but he was pretty decent in the first half. Second half, not quite. But he wasn't bad either. Ultimately, he helped us in defense as well of the ball. But Gakpo still has a long way to go. But I think on the left wing, if we had someone who was a bit more daring, a bit more direct, a bit more 1v1 specialist, I think we would have had a lot of joy on the left against the Sunderland side, I felt. So, and that's not a criticism of Gakpo. Gakpo is still a good player, but I don't think Gakpo should be our go-to guy every single day of the week. That's just what I think. Gakpo is a good player coming like last season. But the same this season, even when he's not on form, we are still trying to let him play through it, which isn't always the best. Sometimes he needs to sit back, come in the second half, against tired defenders, build up his confidence. We are seem to maybe, I don't know if because of the options we are trying to play him a little too much at times. The front line wasn't at their best, scintillating best today, but lots of positives to see from the game today.
Yeah. We also had Gomez come on, so he came on from the bench. Curtis Jones came on from the bench. I think he also had a decent performance. Chiesa also came from the bench, and I really like the way we managed the end of the game, because I think towards the end of the game, Sunderland were looking to get back into the game. The fans were really pushing them on, but we took the sting out of the game. We took control of the ball towards the latter stages. We controlled it. We passed it in their half. We just kept the possession and made sure that
Yeah,
they had
Curtis
no
Jones had
opportunity.
a good cameo in there as well. Curtis Jones with a few touches and that's
Yeah. So it was a good performance from the subs. I really like the way we managed that last half of the game. We weren't allowing them, weren't sitting back too much to allow them to come on to us. Whenever they entered our half of the field, we were up in their faces, trying to prevent them from progressing the ball. So it was a good win. The performance was okay, was decent. We look forward to us being able to build on this performance. We have Brighton at the weekend in the FA Cup, so hopefully we'll see
Right.
another good performance and a
We've
good
talked a
win.
lot about the game, but I haven't heard you talk about Arne Slot.
I still think he should go. Honestly, honestly, we've won today, but for what has happened throughout the season and what happened against City at Anfield, for me, the unforgiving thing is to play the way we played at Anfield and still end up losing. If you are going to sit back and defend against an opponent at Anfield, which Liverpool should never do against any team anyway, if you are going to do that, you have to win the game. And that is what we
So
failed to do countless
if
times
Liverpool
this season.
qualify for the
So,
top four, would you still want us to sack
yeah.
Arne Slot? Qualify for the top four, get to see the latter stages of the Champions League.
Yeah, then he would have proven that he's been able to save the season. For me, qualifying for top four, going far in the Champions League and also the FA Cup would save the season, because we've had an atrocious season so far. Currently, as we speak, it's been an atrocious season. Nobody is happy as a Liverpool fan. Nobody. So we can't say it's been a good season. So he needs to go on, kick on from here. There's no two ways about this. So let's hope we do that. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you very soon. You never walk alone.